This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, article in the description box as always. Now, as anybody would know, if you're going to lie, then what you need to do is try and keep up with that lie. Remember the things that you said before. What you don't do is change the story every time you open your mouth. Well, Deontay Wilder, for some reason, Shady Finkel and Al Heyman kind of let him speak freely once in a while, and Easter eggs fall out of his mouth. And if he was on the battlefield, the amount of ammunition that he gives people to throw back at him is unbelievable. This guy is a complete helmet. Now, all he does in this one is make more and more excuses as to why he would turn down $120 million or $100 million, whichever one is factual. I have no idea. Some say 120, some say 100. Go figure, who cares? It's a crap load of money, okay? You can drive past McDonald's and buy his kids a Happy Meal without having to worry about it, okay? It's a serious amount of money, right? Now, in this statement, again, more excuses as to why he's turned down a fight with Dominic Breazeale, who he has to fight next to anyway, plus 2 fights, legacy fights, for undisputed against Anthony Joshua. And you would think 120 million would just about cover that, okay? But no. Here's his latest excuse. So, Wilder's statement. I'm not in the business of just trying to take some money just because you see a number. That's not me. That's never been me. I'll look at the bigger picture. You sell me a number, and I know there's going to be a bigger number than that. They saw a guy that they thought they could just throw some money at, and that would be it. But they found out the hard way. We came into the meeting serious, and we were looking for serious answers, and we didn't get them. And for that reason, we had to leave it until a further time. A fight between me and Fury won't be difficult for me to make those fights with. I'm betting on myself. I move as I please. Those guys, they have to do as they're told. I make commands and demands. They take them. That's the difference between me and them. I'm like the wild card in this. I move where I want. I can move freely. Soon, I will be the highest paid athlete in the world. If no one believes it, just watch, you'll see. The DAZN deal wasn't right. You can't do a deal if you don't know the other parts of the deal. If information is withheld from you, how can you proceed further? So that is Deontay Wilder's statement. As I said, helmet. Right, so let's go back to front in this one. So the last part, you can't do a deal if you don't know what the other parts of the deal. If information is withheld from you, how can you proceed further? Well, I think 120 million would be more than suffice for that, wouldn't it? But anyway, what was the one thing that him and his fanatical racist fans were saying for quite some time? I'm talking about the radical ones. I'm not talking about a large section of his fan base. We're talking about some of the channels here on YouTube, okay? You know, like 78 Spots for STD and Tampax Boxing, all those kind of ones, right? But if you can't do a deal when you don't know the other parts. Okay, so when Wilder, not his team, but Wilder himself went onto social media and said, hey, Joshua, the money's in the bag, there's 50 million, which later turned out to be coming from Frank Warren and BT Sport, but Joshua didn't know about that at the time. Even though Team Wilder would have known that, and knowing full well that Joshua can't fight on BT Sport, so that money was never there. But regardless of that, the money's in the bag. Joshua, Eddie Hearn said, cool, 50 million, that sounds good. Send us the terms. Send us a contract. No, you have to accept it. You've got 24 hours. We're not sending you nothing until you accept it. So you are unwilling to give information. You are withholding information unless Joshua accepted it. Bearing in mind, in the state of New York, which is where your team are, verbal agreements are law-abiding, yes? They're contractually obliged then, okay? Joshua must accept this deal, whatever's in the deal. Joshua could have to wear pink frilly knickers in the damn ring. Who cares? You accepted the deal, right? So, here you are saying that if information is withheld from you, how can you proceed further? Yeah, you were saying with Joshua, no, we're not going to send you any details. We're not going to send you nothing. You have to accept it. And you've got 24 hours, by the way. But yeah, here you are now saying, but how can I accept it? And you were throwing Joshua under the bus. It's 50 million, this is generational money and blah, blah. Yeah, but you're being offered 120 million, which is even more generational money. You're a walking contradiction. You're a complete bellend, okay? And as far as you being the highest paid athlete in the world, have an absolute word with yourself. You got a gifted draw in your last fight. Your fan base know this. The realistic ones know and say, listen, man, you know, I like Wilder and I hope that Wilder does fight Joshua and I hope that Wilder does defeat Joshua and becomes undisputed and all that kind of thing. But the guy lost his last fight and needed the judges to help him out. You are currently a paper champion and here you are demanding a stupid amount of money. Now, you didn't just lose to a top elite athlete, okay? Because Tyson Fury wasn't there yet. Tyson Fury was still on the road to recovery, really. Tyson Fury just fought 2 cab drivers and went to your back garden and done you. And you seem to think because you dropped him twice, you win a fight. And if anybody really thinks that, please go have a look at the rules. Learn how to score a fight, okay? Now, highest paid athlete. All you're doing is holding that belt to ransom. That's what you're doing. That's what you're holding. You're setting a precedent for all fighters with a belt to demand stupid amounts of money. Well, I've got this belt. Well, it doesn't matter if you're the A side. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what I've done. I've got this belt. If you want it, you're going to have to come pay me. This is like terrorism talk, hostage talk, isn't it? It's what you do. You're holding that belt to ransom. You know you can't beat Joshua. You know that you have no hope in hell of beating Joshua. He will do you Charles Martin 2.0 style. Okay? And listen, I hope that Dominic Breazeale on May the 18th beats you to a pulp, hits you so hard that your skinny little legs limp to the floor and you can't get up. So we never have to hear from you or your radical fan base again. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. But it ain't going to happen. I know it ain't going to happen. But you know what? We can always live with hope. Even if there's only 1% chance that Dominic Breazeale is going to beat you. Okay? But anyway, yeah, enjoy fighting Joshua's leftovers, by the way. Now, you are not going to be the highest paid athlete. And if Eddie Hearn and Joshua and everybody actually give you 50-50 and up the offer from that, I'm going to be angry. And I hope that every Joshua fan out there is with me. Because you should not be able to do this, and Joshua should not give in. Joshua, you can live without this WBC belt. You will get it at some point. Wilder is a loss waiting to have him. Let him go fight for, in comparison, peanuts, okay? Go get Burger King money, okay? Go get Dunkin' Donuts kind of money in comparison to what you could have got because you allowed your boss, your master, Shelly Finkel, to tell you you ain't taking $120 million. In fact, if we ever do get the Joshua fight, if you actually grow some balls and a backbone, Wilder, and we force the fight onto Showtime, which is what you're going to do, you're going to dig your heels in, then you want your fans to pay $75 for that one fight night only. $75. Rather than having your fans, who you love, and I promise my fans and all this kind of garbage, to pay $20 on DAZN, where more people are more likely to pay that, which means less illegal streams. People pay $20 to not only watch that entire fight night, but get an entire month of content for free, essentially, or within that $20. But you want your fans to pay $75. Complete helmet. Now, as far as Joshua and Fury do what they want, do they? Well, they do. Of course they do. But Wilder's saying that they can't. They're being told what to do. Now, to a point, it's kind of correct. They do have to rely on their team to make the fights. They can say, I want this fight, that fight, and that fight as much as they want. And the team can go, yeah, okay, we'll try and make that fight. And then come back to, yeah, we can't get that fight. And then really try and get them the fight that their team wants. So from that point of view, he's probably correct. Because if Eddie Hearn doesn't want Joshua to fight Dillian Whyte, for example, then he's got to not do it. If he doesn't want Joshua to fight Povetkin before, or Parker, or whatever, then the fight ain't going to happen, really, is it? But Wilder, you are told to turn down $120 million to stay on Showtime, on a platform that never promoted you, a platform that never really did anything for you. In fact, they were paying you peanut money in comparison. You are the laughingstock of the heavyweight division, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and yet you can't sell out an arena because no one knows who you are. Your highest payday was $2.1 million against Tyson Fury, who is a huge name. With your gifted draw, you got paid a guaranteed $4 million. But here you are with Joshua getting paid a guaranteed $100 million or whatever it is. And it's not enough. And your fan base back you. How can any serious boxing fan back you in all this? It's absolutely disgusting. You're betting on yourself, you move as you please. Wrong. Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel, who have a vested interest in Showtime, are keeping you there. They own you. Go wash Shelly Finkel's car. Go clean his pool. Go cook his dinner. He's going on a little road trip back in his UFO, packing some sandwiches for his trip back. That's what you are. All right, so what else did he say? Yeah, that's not me. That's never been me. I'll look at the bigger picture. You sell me a number, and I know there's going to be a big number than that. So basically what he's saying here is it doesn't matter what number he's thrown at him, it ain't ever going to be enough because there's always going to be a bigger number. As I said, Joshua Eddie Hearn, if you offer this guy more money than that, if you give him 50-50, even though you hold 3 belts, I'm going to be so angry. So angry. Giving this 120 million was way too much. He hasn't deserved it. He hasn't done anything. He's been lurking around in the shadows while Joshua's been going out belt collecting, while he's had 41 fights and he's in the same position as what he was on 33 fights. Nobody knows him. Nobody likes him. Nobody warms to him. Just because you want that belt, don't give in to these demands. It sets up a precedent. Listen, Eddie, okay? What about all your fighters when you're trying to convince them to take risky fights? What are they going to say? No, I ain't doing that. Why do I need to? All I've got to do is get myself into a position, get myself an easy belt, and I'm going to hold that thing to ransom. And you can't argue with it because you paid Wilder. You can't tell them to take the tough fights until they become champion. And even when they become champion, they can price themselves out. And there's nothing in the world you can do about it because you allowed these precedents to happen. That's what you've done. And he says that I'm not in the business of just trying to make money. Yes, you are. Well, if you're not interested in money, well, why don't you just take the Joshua fight for free then? Just take the fight. It's legacy, isn't it? But on top of that, you get 120 million. If you don't want the money, give it to charity. You're a liar, is what you are. You've always been a liar. You're a fraud. You're a paper champion. You never beat a champion to become a champion. You see, his fan base will say, well, Joshua, he defeated Charles Martin, who wasn't really a champion because Charles Martin won a vacant belt. Vladimir Klitschko was a vacant belt at the time, and Joseph Parker never defeated a champion to get that belt either. Yeah, well, nor did Wilder. Wilder beat Dominic Breazeale. Wilder beat Breazeale. Breazeale won a vacant belt. Wilder waited for Vitaly Klitschko to retire. I can't get my words out. What's wrong with me? I'm actually sick of this guy. I want Dominic Breazeale to knock him out. May the 18th. Dominic Breazeale, knock this clown out. Remove him from boxing. I'm sick of him. The whole boxing world is sick of him. I hope Dominic Breazeale knocks him out and goes and gets that deal for himself. That's what I hope. Because him knocking out Wilder and removing his fan base, taking them out of the boxing world, because these guys are a poison to boxing communities. Okay, remove them, Dominic Breazeale, by knocking out Wilder. You go get that 100 million. Because then you deserve it. Wilder doesn't deserve this deal. Wilder is a fake paper champion who makes every excuse in the book. What happened to, I don't care about money, it's all about legacy. I promise my fans, I love my fans. One face, one name, one champion. When a champion calls your name, you rise to the challenge. You don't care about money, you just take the fight. That's what he says. And all his fans are going, yeah, see, Wilder's right, yeah. Now suddenly, no, it's not, is it? You're all a bunch of lying contradictions. As I said, like the 78 spots of an STD and all these little groupies over there. You guys need to get out of boxing. You guys are a cancer for boxing, as is this guy. Just like your brother Wilder, the little PED cheat. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next video.